Hey, Kayla here from My Vegan Dreams. I hope you are having an awesome day. I am so excited. I have a very special guest that we're going to be interviewing here in a moment. But before we do, let me just make sure we're actually live, and we are, so that's good. Okay, cool. If you are tuning in, watching live or the replay, if you want to just comment below, say hi, where you're coming in from. If you are vegan, definitely let me know. If you're an aspiring vegan, drop a comment down below. Looks good. Okay, cool. So I'm so excited, guys. So today I have a very special guest. This is someone who last week, I think we spent over an hour and a half on a call with, just because like the information you're gonna receive today is gold. So this is someone who is a health coach and really specializes in helping people lower their blood pressure, lower their cholesterol, lose weight by eating more food. More food. We love more food.
How does that happen? How does that happen? That can't be possible.
And this is Vince Rountree. So welcome, Vince.
Hey, hello, and hello to My Vegan Dream members. It is a pleasure to be on with you and to share all of this wonderful health information that I've got to share with you, and I am excited. Thank you, Kayla. Thank you, Megan, for having me on today.
Awesome. We're so happy to have you. Your energy and your knowledge is incredible. So I know we talked last week, and I would love for you to share. I know you were into, I believe it was swimming. Like, how did you get on this health journey? Were you always super healthy?
Yeah, I've always loved sports. I was absolutely a swimmer in high school, and set school records in states and all of that stuff, right? And I was so, and I'm not a young guy, so back in the 80s when I was swimming, actually 70s, but don't tell anybody. There were clearly not a whole lot of black swimmers, so I kind of took pride in being undefeated and back in those days. But so I've always been healthy and always ate what I thought was healthy. Basically all my life I've played sports and exercised and running or tennis and lifting weights till this day, and I'm 57 years old today and still doing stuff. Yeah.
No idea. No idea.
Oh, I forgot to tell you that.
Amazing.
That one little go plant-based and exercise is the fountain of youth. I mean, clearly, don't look for a pill. Don't look for a magic formula. Don't look for a potion. Just stop eating heavily processed junk foods. Eat plants that grow, that when you look at it, it looks like it did when it was grown. You can see the string beans. You can see the potatoes. They look like potatoes, not fried potato chips or French fries that's been cut and then soaked in oil where you get all of that excess fat. Like when you eat unprocessed plant-based foods, the body always wants to heal itself. Like if you cut yourself, the only thing you got to do is keep it clean so it doesn't get infected, and it heals itself. If
that's amazing. Yeah, that's amazing, right? Like that the body does that.
The body is incredible. If you break a bone, a compound fracture, the only thing the doctor does is like sets it back end to end and just let it go. And did you know that where that bone mends, that mend is stronger than the other parts of the bone? And if you try and if you do the same injury, that part doesn't break. Something over here will break. The body has it'll heal itself. Same thing if you have high blood pressure, if you've got high cholesterol, if you've got just any one of hundreds and hundreds of diseases, if you just feed yourself fruits, vegetables, whole grains, beans, nuts, potatoes, squash, unprocessed plant-based foods, and you get some exercise, the body will heal itself. I found this firsthand in 2011. I had high cholesterol and high blood pressure, and the doctor.
You were sorry, this back then, and you were healthy though, right? Because you've always been an athlete.
Yep.
So healthy, high blood pressure, high cholesterol.
Because your arteries don't necessarily know, right? If your arteries can get clogged, yet you still be healthy on the outside.
So you weren't like overweight or like nothing like that?
Nope.
Wow.
Was not overweight. Yeah, because the thing is that most people that have high blood pressure, high cholesterol, diabetes, most of them are overweight, but you don't have to be. You can have these things and not be overweight. There's people who run marathons and still die of a heart attack because those arteries can still get clogged. What clogs the arteries? It's that LDL cholesterol. Where does that come from? Saturated fat in the diet. Well, most Americans get that saturated fat from eating animal-based products because saturated fat is in milk, cheese, dairy, eggs, fish, chicken, turkey. All animal-based products have saturated fat in them and cholesterol in them. But coconut oil and palm oil have saturated fat also. So when you eat processed vegan foods, I don't want to shame these companies because I'm glad that they exist. But Beyond Burger, Impossible Burger, fantastic. I'm glad they're out there because that's saving animals' lives, right? But from a health standpoint, I would much rather you have a veggie burger that's made with beans and oats or beets or garbanzo beans and carrots and celery, because those are vegetables. The Beyond Burger and Impossible Burger has a saturated fat profile that looks just like a real burger. And it's coming from, I'm not sure if it's either the palm oil or the coconut oil. I think it's from palm oil, which we know the gorillas in South America, that's another whole thing, right? So you want to avoid those foods. But anyway, going back to elevated cholesterol, I had high cholesterol, and at the time I was eating the standard American diet. I was maybe 10, 15 pounds overweight, maybe. I'm 6 feet tall. I was 190 pounds, and blood pressure was high, cholesterol was high. And I found Dr. Esselstyn, who was reversing heart disease with food. And I'm like, he said that heart disease is caused by food. I'm like, that can't be right. Like, heart disease is the #1 cause of death. Like, literally every 40 seconds, somebody dies of heart disease. We've been live for like 8 minutes. So like 10 people have died from a heart attack since we got on this call. 10 people since we went live. 10 people. That's mind-boggling. And the cause is the food. And so when I saw that, and then I saw the data that backed up what he said, my undergraduate degrees in chemical engineering, I love science, I love data. I saw that data and said, let me see what this does to my cholesterol. 6 weeks, total cholesterol went from 240 down to 132.
Whew.
LDL cholesterol, a bad cholesterol, went from 170 down to 78. Wow. Blood pressure dropped down to like 112 over like 72.
And what was it?
And I lost 20 pounds. And I wasn't trying to lose weight. I mean, this is just from eating unprocessed plant-based foods. Now,
so was it hard for you to go from eating, what you were eating before to this like whole new diet? Like, how did you do that? So
I was determined. It was a test. I didn't make the decision that I would do this for the rest of my life. It was a test. I wanted to see how my body responded. And because it was a test, I didn't want to contaminate the test by having an occasional chicken wings or, it's okay if you just have one thing of ice cream. No, I wanted to have none, because in the back of my mind, if it didn't drop a lot, I was going to go back. That was like the thought in my mind. But the drop was like ridiculous. So was it hard? Well, I didn't really know what to eat like this. And that's what I help people. My full-time job now is helping people make that transition. And so I make it really, really easy for them. At the time, I didn't really know what I was going to eat. And, so I was like, I don't know. I know what I'm not going to eat. I'm not eating fish. I'm not eating, chicken. I'm not eating cheese. But, I just kind of found stuff and put it together and it worked out. And so the results were just amazing. And then I started helping people in my office do the same thing. And I watched their blood pressure drop and I watched their glucose levels drop. And I'm like, this is incredible. Like, this is it. Right. And then after that happened, then I started thinking, man, it is so cool that animals don't have to die for me to be healthy. As a matter of fact, by eating these animals, it makes me more unhealthy. It's like the animal kills you after we kill it, right? And so, so that was like so comforting, right? That was so comforting. And at the time, I thought all vegans were skinny and wore Birkenstock, right? I thought I didn't have a daishiki, I figured. Like, how could it be? All vegans wear daishikis and wear these Birkenstock sandals and stuff. And I didn't do that. So I was like, and they're all skinny. And like, that's what I thought. Like, that was I didn't know any better, right? And so, the first conference I went to, plant-based nutrition conference I went to, I saw all these people that were overweight. And oh, I'm vegan. And I'm like, how could you be vegan? Well, I learned so much since then. That was, so it was 2011 when I made the change. The first conference I went to was like 2012, I think. And I've learned so much. I mean, this concept called calorie density is absolutely amazing. I've got clients today that I make them this promise that if you eat from this meal planner that I have, I've got a meal planning software with thousands of recipes and they're ridiculously good. And if you just eat from that meal planner, I'm like, eat all you want, get stuffed, eat lunch, dinner, snack, just eat until you can't eat anymore. And even if you don't exercise, you're still going to lose at least a pound a week.
Wow.
And it happens all the time. I mean, and particularly the more weight you have to lose, you'll lose it even faster. I mean, I've seen people lose, I just worked with this lady, her first 8 days, she dropped 6.4 pounds in 8 days. And she went on, now it's been 3 weeks and now she's down 10 pounds in 3 weeks. So she's losing at a rate of 3 pounds a week. I don't promise that to people, but
right.
But when I say this, all you got to do is just eat the food in this meal planner. The taste is unbelievable. It's easy to cook and you'll lose weight. And even for vegans, it's even more important because if you're vegan for the animals, that's a wonderful, you're doing God's work, right? The animals don't have a voice. You're a voice for the animal. That's like awesome. But at the same time, if you're not healthy, non-vegans look at you and say, well, you're not a role model. I mean, you're a role model, but I don't want to look like you. And they may not say that, but it's going to be in the back of the mind. That's why it's so important for you to be healthy. Well, if you're already vegan and you already made the switch from animal-based foods to plant-based foods, make another switch from processed plant-based foods to unprocessed plant-based foods. When you do that, weight starts dropping. If you got high cholesterol, cholesterol is going to drop. If you got high blood pressure is going to drop. I just see it happen every day. Like it always happens.
So one of the things that I hear a lot of people say is, oh, like I'm never full, on a plant-based diet or vegan diet. So what would you tell that person who says, oh, I tried it, but I was never full. I was always hungry. So,
and that happens because the calorie density is so low. So if you're at your ideal weight, if you're at your ideal weight and you don't want to lose any more weight, for that person, and they're always hungry, I would have them eat more beans, more rice, more potatoes, more avocado, more nuts, more seeds. And these foods are higher in the calorie density range. And so if you don't want to lose any more weight, like today, I don't want to lose any more weight. I don't want to lose any more weight. And so I will eat more nuts and seeds and avocado than if, I'm working with somebody who they still want to lose weight. If you really want to lose weight, go heavy on the fruits, vegetables, salads, soups, and smoothies and fruits, anything that can get you in more fruits and vegetables and water, because those have the lowest in calorie density. And if you want to gain more weight, yeah, go ahead.
Oh, no, you go ahead with that.
And if you want to gain more weight, you eat foods that are higher in calorie density, but still unprocessed plant-based. Like, I still don't want you to eat the Beyond Burger or the Impossible Burger because you're trying to gain weight. I don't want you to gain it that way. I want you to gain it by eating nuts and seeds and rice and potatoes and beans and lentils and those types of foods. And if you have to eat 3 meals a day, 4 meals a day, 5 meals a day, do it. But unprocessed plant-based foods, and I really don't want you to consume oil, because oil is an extracted food. So like olives have the oil in it, right? When we have olives oil, olives have protein, olives have fat, olives have carbohydrates in it. But to get olive oil, you have to literally strip out the fiber, strip out the vitamins, strip out the nutrients, the phytonutrients, strip all that out and just have 100% fat left. Don't do that. Don't do that. Now, that 100% fat can get absorbed into your bloodstream very quickly. And when it does, it makes the blood sluggish, right? Because if you imagine what it's like to pour water out of a cup. Now, what is it like to pour molasses out of a cup? It's really thick. Well, when you eat oil, it makes your blood thick like molasses. And so your blood pressure is going to go up, and it starts to damage the endothelium. Because if you look at it like this, there's fat in that olive. There's fat in the nuts. There's fat in the avocado. But your body's got to work to get it out. So you don't get a rush of it at one time. But if we take the work and we take the fat out, now it's 100% fat. It can get in your bloodstream really quickly. And it can get into your muscle cells. And that's what causes type 2 diabetes. Sugar doesn't cause diabetes. Sugar reveals the fact that your body is not handling glucose properly. It's not the cause. The cause is fat in your muscle cells. And the fat most people get fat in the muscle cells by eating excess animal products, but you can also get it from eating processed plant-based foods and oils. You can still be diabetic. But if you go to unprocessed plant-based foods, fruits, vegetables, whole grains, beans, legumes, oatmeals, rice, potatoes, when you go to unprocessed plant-based foods, there's fat in there, but not in high concentrations. It's in the concentration that nature wanted you to get it in. So don't have the pure oil where you extract it out, just like sugar, right? I mean, eat all of the bananas and mango and watermelon you want. But is there sugar in it? Yeah. But there's minerals, there's vitamins, there's phytonutrients, there's fiber, all just a cacophony of nutrients that your body needs. But yeah, so is there sugar in it? Yeah, that's part of it. But you're getting this whole package that's beautiful. And so you can't compare a whole package full of nutrients to a Coca-Cola that just has high concentration of extracted sugar.
Yeah.
No comparison. No comparison.
Yeah. I'm really glad you brought that up, because so many times I hear so many people, I don't want to eat too much fruit because of all the sugar in it.
That's just a fallacy. It's just a fallacy. I mean, I've seen people that are diabetics literally get offered their pills by going unprocessed plant-based foods, and that does include fruit. And so now on the short term, so let's say somebody's diabetic and right now they start eating a bunch of fruit. Yeah, their glucose is going to go up because it takes time for the fat in the muscle cells to drain out. Like, the process works like this. When you eat, let's say, fruit, what happens is the carbohydrates convert to glucose, right? Now that glucose is floating around in your bloodstream. But where does that glucose want to get? Into the muscle cell. Because the mitochondria in that muscle cell use that glucose as energy to drive your body. So in order to get that fuel, like you've heard of, like you ran a half marathon, right? And so when long distance runners will do something called carbing up the day before, right? I mean, eat a bunch of pasta, eat a bunch of rice, carbing up. What are you really doing? You're consuming those carbs because that goes into your glycogen stores, and your body wants to use that as fuel throughout the race. Well, where is it burning up that fuel in the race? In the mitochondria, in the muscle cell. But it's got to pass from the bloodstream to get into the muscle cell. It needs insulin as the key to unlock the door to allow glucose to get from the bloodstream into the muscle cell. That's the way it's supposed to work. But somebody that's got diabetes, the insulin won't open the door. Why will the insulin not unlock the door? So glucose cannot get in. It's stuck in the bloodstream. It's trying to get into the muscle cell, but it can't get in. So it keeps building up. Why can't it get inside? Because saturated fat, because fat can get into the muscle cell easier than glucose can. Why? Because fat does not need a hormone like insulin in order for it to get into the muscle cell, whereas glucose does. So fat can easily get absorbed into those muscle cells. Now, your insulin, the diabetic, their insulin is trying to unlock the door to let more glucose in, and the cell is like, we're full. Like this house is already occupied because with all this fat, we don't have room for the glucose. So the best solution is stop eating all of that fat. If that fat drains out, now the glucose can go in like it should. So if you're diabetic and you eat fruit, initially, yes, your glucose is going to jump up. But over time, as that fat drains out, then the glucose can travel from the bloodstream into the muscle cell, and you're no longer diabetic.
Ah, wow. That's so interesting. And I like how I know like all of your degrees and everything that you have is like so science. So I love how you bring that in. We are getting a question from Patty, who's asking what's your thoughts on soy, like tofu?
Oh my God. Thank you for that question. Oh my God. So soy has gotten a bad. Okay, the short answer: soy is amazing. Short answer. Let's just get. Soy is incredibly healthy for men and for women. Let me give you a little bit of background on why soy got a bad name. You see, when women get breast cancer, what feeds those cancer cells is estrogen. And which is why the first thing they need to do is eliminate all dairy, because that's just pure, straight up regular estrogen. Like any woman with breast cancer, please don't consume a drop of dairy. Yeah. Right? That's the first, because estrogen feeds the cancer cell. Now, soy has phytoestrogen. And when you draw out when you look at the chemical structure of the phytoestrogen and compare it to estrogen, they look very, very similar. So for years, doctors were like, don't consume soy because that phytoestrogen will feed that cancer cell. But that's old science. What they know today is that cancer cell has two types of receptors, an alpha receptor and a beta receptor. The alpha receptor causes that cancer cell to grow. That's what regular estrogen attaches to. The beta receptor causes that cancer cell to shrink. And soy's phytoestrogen attaches to the beta. It actually causes the cancer cell to shrink. In fact, it is as effective as tamoxifen, which is a drug that is used for women that have breast cancer. And there's two processes that happen. I don't know if I'm going into too much detail or not.
This is great. No,
okay,
I mean, I think guys, if you're liking this, if you want to know, comment, let us know. Are you liking this? But for me, yes, continue.
Okay, all right. So there's two processes. So there's two things. First is even a woman that's at menopause, that she's not making much estrogen, there's still estrogen coming in. Where is it coming from? The cancer cell has a process where it actually makes its own estrogen, believe it or not. The cancer cell itself can create its own estrogen that then feeds that cancer cell and causes it to grow. But soy interrupts that process. Oh my God. Tamoxifen does the same thing. there's an enzyme called aromatase that is necessary for that cancer cell to convert cholesterol into estrogen, and it uses aromatase. And tamoxifen is like an aromatase inhibitor that then prevents the cancer cell from creating its own estrogen. Soy does the same thing with no side effects. Soy is absolutely incredible. You should consume as much soy as you want. You can get your soy from soy milk. You can get it from tofu. You can get it from tempeh. You can get it from seitan. I don't care where you get it. Edamame is a great source because that's completely unprocessed. Soy is outstanding.
Wow, that's incredible. I didn't know that. I know when I watched What the Health, I learned about the dairy and how bad that was, but I had no idea that actually tofu or not tofu, but just soy in general can reverse that. That's so amazing. And it's so crazy to me, being a woman, like, we should know this. Like, this is really important to know. So if anyone has, anyone that has someone that's going through breast cancer, had breast cancer, please share this with them. Please tell them about this information. It's really important. And Vince, I know that our time's almost up, but I know that Megan and I went through, I know, it's crazy, so crazy.
I talk too much. I talk too much.
No, it's incredible. And last week you shared with us this amazing site where you can get all of these different whole food options that I think is really important. So I'm gonna put Vince's link up here if anyone wants to check that out. It's loseweighteatingmore.com/MVD. You can check out that. He's got some really cool slides that you can get emailed. We do have one more question before I let you go, Vince, and that's from Carl. Carl's asking, is too much soy bad for men?
No, not at all. Not at all. I mean, with the studies, the only way, you would have to consume like I think the number was something like 500 gallons of soy milk before. It gets to a point where it is, but you can't consume enough where you get to that point. No, soy is great for men. It's great for women. I think that when soy milk kind of started competing with whole milk, the milk companies come out with these tests that are constructed to make something look bad, even if it's not. And they can do that. They can do that. Yeah. And then they just report half of the story, and you don't read the other half. Like, I'll give you an example. If you got high cholesterol, and let's say you're eating 2 eggs a day, and you got high cholesterol. Now, let's say I have you go to 4 eggs a day, and your cholesterol doesn't move. And the only thing that they report is having more eggs does not raise cholesterol. That would be true. But you're already at the maximum. You get to a point where it doesn't get any higher. But they don't tell you that. They just write this story that says, it doesn't, you can eat more eggs and it doesn't raise your cholesterol. Man, that's half the story. It's jacked up. But they do stuff like that all the time. You take somebody like you or me that's eating an unprocessed plant-based foods, give us 1 egg a day and watch what happens through the roof. But they don't report that.
No,
they don't report that. Like, they do. There's tricks like that, and then you just report the truth, but it ain't the whole truth. Mm-hmm. And I think the same thing happened with soy milk. The regular milk companies started coming up with all of these stuff. If you look at it like this, in China, they've been consuming soy for thousands of years, no cancer, yet we got cancer rates through the roof, and we trying to tell them that soy is causing cancer. They're like, you Americans are ridiculous.
That's awesome. It's so true. So true. I saw that in a documentary too. That's crazy. Okay, one more question. Sorry, Vince. I know you got to go. From Patty, what's your favorite milk substitute?
Oh, so really, personally, well, let me say this. From a health standpoint, it doesn't matter. Almond milk, cashew milk, soy milk, rice milk, oat milk. I don't care. Anything, any plant-based milk. I prefer no sugar added because I don't drink it by itself. I use my milk. I use my plant-based milk in order to make my oatmeal and in order to make my vegan pancakes. I don't have it by itself.
Ooh.
Oh yeah. Oh! You gotta go to this website. Go to
I gotta
this
get some pancakes.
loseweighteatingmore.com/MVD for my vegan dreams. You go there, download my slides and my slides tell you how you can lose weight by eating more. Like I got clients lose weight eating more. So you go there, download the slides, and then you will see this meal planning app that's got thousands of amazing recipes that are delicious. And if you say, okay, for 30 days, I'm just going to eat what's on this software. If you need to lose weight, the weight's going to drop off. And so there's some nice vegan pancake recipes in there. There's vegan French toast recipes. There's vegan oatmeal, all kind of oatmeals, and even barbecue sandwich. Oh my God, there's this.
You showed me that. Yeah, that looks so good. So
barbecue jackfruit is ridiculous. And you can fool your friends and neighbors. They will think they're eating a pulled pork sandwich, but it's vegan. That's in the app. Taco salad. Woo! The bean salad. Oh my God. The food is ridiculous. But anyway, so my milk is unsweetened because I don't drink it by itself. I just use it for pancakes and for oatmeal. And personally, I usually do almond milk just because I can go to Costco and get 3 half gallons for like $7.89 or something like that. And so, but I really don't have a preference. Any plant-based milk is better than cow's milk. Just don't touch the freaking cow, man. I mean,
so true.
I mean, for 2 reasons, right? It's killing you. But if you think we impregnate this cow in order to take the baby and kill it, and they can't drink their mom's milk because we like cheese, the cruelest food on the planet. It's the cruelest food. Imagine taking a woman, you impregnate her, and just so she can have a baby, then you take the baby away just so you can steal the milk because we like cheese.
So sad.
It's cruel. I mean, it's cruel. It's just horrific. And so, yeah. So any plant from a health standpoint, I prefer unsweetened almond milk or cashew milk is what I go with. Oat milk is also good. Hemp milk, they're all good.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I always have almond milk unsweetened in my fridge, and then lately in my coffee, if I don't drink it black, I'll add unsweetened oat milk.
Oat milk and coffee is like the new thing, right? Oat milk with coffee is really good. It's
so good. It's like creamy. It's delicious. Yeah.
Yes. Yes. Oat milk and coffee, baby.
Well, thank you so much, Vince, for being on. This has been amazing. And guys, if you are tuning in, watching this recording, definitely give Vince for some love for being on here, sharing all of this information with us. It's been so valuable. And yeah, check out, that free download you can get. And if you have any questions about anything that Vince talked about, drop it in the comments. I know he'll be checking in. I'll be checking in. Thank you guys for being here. And thank you so much, Vince. This was amazing.
Thank you. Oh, and I put 6 recipes from the meal planner are in the slides. So so when you get the slides at the very end, there's 6 recipes in there, and they're my favorite. They're unbelievable. You're gonna love them. You're gonna love them. I'm telling you.
Love it. Thank you so much, Vince, and thank you everyone for tuning in. And we'll catch you in the comments. Bye for now.
Bye.